Smile, everybody.
Hey.
There's my hand.
I was working in a periodontal office that did not accept Medicaid when a patient walked in from her brand new premium Escalade for an appointment with her Medicaid card. We informed her we didn't take Medicaid. That's when she pulled out a big wad of $100 bills. I was kind of blown away as I was spending a third of my income on my own health insurance because I was just above poverty line. Unfortunately, you as a taxpayer overpay for many unqualified beneficiaries because there are not a lot of qualifications to receive them. There's not a lot of checks and balances. Though our welfare programs are much needed and of great benefit to most citizens using it, our people are abusing the financial assistance programs of the U.S. because there are few checks and balances in place to prevent this from happening. This is costing you as a taxpayer between $3,000 and $12,000 per year. Implementing regulations such as drug testing and job volunteering requirements, in addition to financial need to check and balance the system, will help prevent people from wrongfully overtaking advantage of these benefits, preventing burden on U.S. taxpayers by ensuring only people that truly need assistance receive these benefits, in addition to combating our overexpenditure of expenses as a country. So let's take a closer look at why we need to regulate these assistances. U.S. taxpayers pay around $1.1 trillion to federal taxes just to cover welfare programs such as Medicaid and food assistance every year. If you make $50,000 a year, $1,600 of those dollars are going to pay for someone else's welfare costs, specifically for insurance. That's 3.5% of your income. How much of that money would pay for your own health insurance? 26% of federal funding supports healthcare assistance programs according to CBV.org, 11% more than our defense costs. States pay an additional $1.1 trillion to cover the other 50% of healthcare assistance costs. This amount of money is severely impacting our national debt of $26.7 trillion as of the end of 2020, according to CIS.org. Meanwhile, our national debt interest is over $350 billion per year, according to budget.state.gov. That's almost $900,000 per taxpayer. What would you do if the IRS came asking you to pay that $900,000 to satisfy the debt because our debt collectors were coming after it? 108 million welfare beneficiaries are not even taxpayers. That is an average of $22,500 per person, according to Senate.gov. And finally, $243 billion in welfare costs go to non-taxpayers each year. So why are people able to take advantage of the system? There are few checks and balances for acquiring and maintaining Medicaid status. I have a coworker who has children. They're living with the father and still together. The son's father, but because they're not married, they illegally claimed single status despite having the financial benefits of a married couple. Another woman I know has bragged on multiple occasions about how she has Medicaid and food assistance while she makes $1,000 a month in child support. The son's father pays her rent, but is over the poverty line because she makes between $1,000 and $2,000 a week under the table. Now that you've heard why people are able to take advantage of the system and why it's a problem, let's discuss a solution. I propose support for an amendment to the Patient Protection and Affordable Care Act, PL 111-148, to have the regulations below to go into effect in early 2022. To receive welfare health assistance of any form, the applicant must be the following things: a legal citizen of the United States, working or prove they are actively looking for work, or volunteering a minimum of 30 hours per week until able to find work unless mentally or physically unable to work. Must be below the poverty line with all incomes considering including W-2, 1099, child support, companies owned, under the table pay, and all other sources. To prove this, you must provide access to bank deposits and agree to random financial investigation to check and balance the needs of your assistance. And finally, increase penalty for falsifying qualifications to 90 days mandatory jail time, returning to falsified costs and interest, in addition to never being able to receive benefits again. Though these regulations may seem complicated, they are actually easier than you may think. The states of Utah, Wisconsin, Maine, North Carolina, Missouri, Kentucky, and New Hampshire have already effectively added the working stipulation, according to a report done called Work Success Safety Net Programs. Missouri found that a quarter of those receiving Medicaid no longer qualified, as they were able-bodied workers who we did not exclude by disability, or have children under the age of school age that were not actively looking for work. Many recipients found it easier to work or made them better at their work. There is already a system in place to regulate this infrastructure, so it will be a lot easier and more affordable to add the proper participants in place, mainly auditors, to ensure these regulations come to fruition and are enforced, according to budget.state.gov. This will be saving you and your fellow Americans and taxpayers millions of dollars every year. Will decrease national debt by charging taxpayers more money. Will stop people from taking advantage of a system meant to aid truly disabled and needy persons. Will encourage more people to work, increasing national revenue. My fellow citizens, welfare helps many people in need of our assistance, but we've been allowing people to take advantage of the system as they reap the fruits of our labor. The United States welfare system needs to add regulations to prevent this by adding more stipulations to receive these benefits. The U.S. can put your hard-earned dollars to greater use by reducing fraud and benefit financially while getting more people to work. We will see a plethora of benefits to our economy and better expenditures of our tax dollars. While welfare is an amazing opportunity to truly help those in need, it has become a system that many take advantage of. And it's time to put that to an end so that your tax dollars can benefit you. So let's encourage citizens to afford their Escalades on their own dime and not yours. I'd like to discuss a few questions with you guys. Feel free to give your opinions or answers. First and foremost, does anyone have any experiences or stories they'd like to share about welfare?
I used it once when we needed it. Not welfare. Not Medicaid. Food stamps.
Yeah, I used Medicaid too.
Then when we didn't need it, we didn't need it.
I don't have any experience with using welfare or Medicaid for that reason.
I know someone who has 5 children and gets their nails done, hair done constantly and doesn't pay a dime to it, but is living completely off the government.
How do you feel about that?
I don't like it.
That's fair.
Eating lobster and steak every day.
True story.
Next, what do you think would be the pros and cons of implementing a system like this?
Well, obviously, I think the pro would be that less people would take advantage. That's the point, right?
Absolutely.
I don't see any cons other than, putting in the effort to make it happen. People having to actually do something to implement it.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, finally, do you think it's fair that people are not contributing to the welfare system and receiving benefits?
Well, it's a tough one. I mean, if they're not contributing, that's why they're on it, right? So, but for, somebody who's able-bodied and chooses to not contribute because it's a choice versus they can't, that's another situation there.
Agreed.
I think if you start cutting welfare off with a lot of people, there's going to be a lot of angry people out there.
Yes.
And it might start causing, who knows, riots, looting, who knows? Because some people just don't want to work. They want the handouts. So
Yeah, what do we do with those people?
Mexico.
Get them out of here.
I mean, that's a fair question. I think that's something that we would have to take the time to be prepared for before implementing, which is why we're taking the time to, figure that stuff out over the next 6 months before 2022.
yep.
Any other questions? Okay. Thank you guys very much for taking consideration and the time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.